A friend of mine gave me a big chunk of Osage. I'm gonna make a hobo reel out of it. Probably gonna make about 3. It's actually a pretty good size. So the dimensions are roughly 3 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and it's 50 3/8 inches long. So I may be able to chop this thing down and get just what I need out of each end to make some hobo reels. This end has some punk in it we'll have to take care of, but I think that there's enough there to turn that away. So maybe I'll do the handle on this end and the reel on the other end. All right, I'm gonna square it off, and then I'm gonna cut about 12 inches out of this for a workable section. Look at that color. Beautiful yellow. So I'm going to want about 12 inches right here. Let's pull it up to the front where I can see it. Mark that off. My Lord, that is just some hardwood. Can't beat that color though. Look at like the zebra stripes. This is going to be a beautiful piece if I don't break a chisel on it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out about another 5-inch section off the other end of it to get away from that punk, because I can turn that punk to the center to get the handle out of it, but I have to have it solid to get the reel. About 5 inches for working space. So now that I got my centers drawn and got my drive spur beat into it, went ahead and chucked it up and put the tailstock to it, got it spinning. I'm gonna sharpen up my chisel and start roughing it out. Oh wow, that's just a beautiful wood. Look how yellow that is. My God. That's gonna be so pretty, especially on the handle when it's got all the ripples in the grain. Man, it's the first time I've ever turned any Osage, and it hasn't let me down. And it's actually cutting a lot easier than I thought it would. It's some pretty tough wood right here. All right, I'm gonna make my tenon, then I'm gonna chuck it back up and we'll start shaping the reel. Just gonna make a couple of marks. I'll probably get 2 reels out of this one. Let's see about how big I want it. About like that. Almost forgot to finish marking them. Pretty close. It'll be all right. So if you're ever going to make one of these, it's important to remember which side's the top and which side's the bottom. You're going to be drilling through this side. So this side is going to be the bottom. You want the bottom to have all smooth edges, good and round. The top, it doesn't matter so much. You can barely curve it over a little bit to keep that from snagging on anything, but you don't want to cut it in too deep because you want to leave room for your handle, for the grip, for the reel. In my last video, there was like this giant pile of used up sandpaper right here. But you're going to be proud of me because I actually took the time and gave the effort into cleaning up the sandpaper. Knew I wasn't going to be able to make a knife out of it like I will with the Sawzall blades, but now I'm down to this pile of not so much used sandpaper. That's a lot better than the pile before. All of that with the sandpaper was basically leading up to, I'm about to sand this. Take that little nipple off right there. All right, we're going to start with 80, go from 80 to 120, and 120 to 240 as soon as I find it over here in this pile. I've made a promise to myself to use everything in this pile before I get any more out. All right, here we go. Some almost used up sandpaper. Had to dig through some batteries. I got a couple of them that are bad. Just to help out, give this video a like. That way YouTube will help me buy some more batteries. I sure would appreciate it. All right, we're gonna start with 80 grit. Good old mustard dust. Look how pretty that is. Before I put the final little bit of sanding on here, I think it just needs a little bit of detail. These are going to be very unique pieces, and I can't just leave them plain. So let's put some detail into it. That looks really good. Got two little accent lines. This will actually be covered up with fishing line. It's just a little spot to make it a little easier to tie off. All right, so now I'm going to run 3/4 inch Forstner all the way through it. And then I'm going to run this 7/8 to a certain stopping point right here, as you can see, so that it'll create a shoulder on the inside for the reel to sit on. All right, go ahead and cut this off. Move on to the handle. Get all that stringy stuff out of there. Well, it looks like we got to do a little bit of sanding on the inside. Other than that, it looks good. So I got the handle material chucked up, ready to go. Got some problem spots we're gonna have to watch out for. This whole ridge right here, if it comes down and grabs a little bit too hard, it's just gonna rip it to pieces, or the piece will come flying off. And this right here is pretty soft, and it goes down, shoot, about 3/8 of an inch, and that's going to be right in my tenon area. I want that to be the tenon area because I want good solid wood up here. So play it by ear, see how it goes. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared of that, so I'm gonna grab a face mask. I use this a lot, safety first. So on that one, I had a piece right in here. There it is. Come flying out and hit me. Did you see that piece? That came from right in here somewhere. Probably right there, what it looks like. At least it's gone now. Boy, that is pretty. All right, so let's start cutting down the end here for the reel to fit over, and then once we get the reel seated in there good, we'll start shaping it, and then we'll come down here and make the handle for the top of the reel. Looks like I gotta sharpen my parting tool too. All right, so now that it's seated on there, it'll need some sanding to make it a little bit smoother, but got to cut this excess off. So I'm just going to mark it right there, and then we'll cut it past that line. Perfect. You want it to just be just a little bit past, just where you can barely grab a hold of it, and that'll keep that free spin going. All right, now we can shape the rest of it. That feels really good, actually. Like, really good. Gotta do something with this. But other than that, that feels good. Work on this a little bit. See about where we're at. I like that. Keep that on there. So I'm gonna cut in right here and then do all my sanding. Take a look at that. Wow. Look at that. Oh, mustard dust. Man, that is beautiful. See how the reel spins on it now. Like a dream. Look at that. When that thing's sitting up, not laying down, it'll spin free. All right, got to get it cut off and sanded down a little bit more. That reel would look just ridiculous with no detail down here. You guys should have said something sooner. All right. So what do you think? 3 lines here, 2 here, or 2 here and 2 here? 2 here and 1 there? I like that too. Oh man, look at that. That thing works perfect, and it is just beautiful. I love the little punk knot right there. Love that. Oh, I love it too. It came from the same piece, so the grain kind of plays around on itself. Like that one little piece right there that's off, but all the rest of it looks just crazy. All right, so now what we gotta do is we have to make the handle for turning this thing. And to start out with, we're gonna drill a 1/2 inch hole right here. Alright, so now we're going to make the handle out of this little leftover piece right here. That's why you leave such a long piece. But first I got to get rid of some of this nonsense right here. And then make this fit that little hole that we just drilled. That's about a perfect fit. Let's go ahead and shape out the handle. Alright, I want to check and make sure that it don't hang over the edge. Look at that. Just about perfect, ain't it? Okay, first thing we're going to do is glue this handle to the reel. And I kind of want the grain to go in the same direction. I think like that's going to be the prettiest. I'm going to do it like that. You don't need a whole lot. You just kind of want to get it basically everywhere but thin. All right, let that dry. Try to keep this as straight as possible and right in the center. Boy, that wood is hard. All right, I think that's good. Oh, this is a 7/64 drill bit, by the way. Then I gotta have a Phillips head bit as well. If I was more prepared, my videos would probably go a little bit easier, you know, get the flow going, but instead I'll just do this. Or it's like, oh man, I forgot this part, and then I gotta go do it. Most of the time you don't see it, but it's always like that. Instead of changing all this out, I could have just grabbed the impact over there. I literally have another drill behind me. All right, let's get it fit up. Then we'll take it back apart, coat it, hang it up and let it dry. Man, that is pretty. Man, oh man, look at that. Whoa, that's some action. You'd actually reel it in like that. Oh man. That's a lot better. Oh, Dawn, you're gonna love this, man. Okay, so now we got it all put together. I'm going to take it back apart. I just have to show you one more time. Look at that thing. Oh, it's a really pretty reel. But anyways, I'm going to take it back apart, and then I'm going to coat it with Danish oil. And then I'm going to let that dry probably overnight. It's a little humid here, but I'll come back and I'll check it in a few hours. If it's dry, then we'll jump to it then. If not, then I'm gonna let it dry overnight. I let it sit overnight, and I came back out. I sanded it down with some 400 grit sandpaper, just light sanding, and then I recoat it. And man, isn't it pretty. Just to recap, Osage Orange, first time I'd ever turned Osage. It was a little bit tricky at first, kept getting some snags right there, a little bit of grab, but it turned out beautiful. You can see that there's not one rough spot anywhere on this. And of course, as always, the free spin, gotta love it. Amazing piece of work. So Don Lanier, this one goes out to you, buddy. Thank you so much for this piece. I hope you really enjoy this one. And to everybody else, I made 2 more. That's all I had material for. I'm gonna put these on my Etsy, and they're gonna be first come, first serve. If you wanna get your hands on an Osage Orange Hobo reel, you have to check that out. I'll put a link to the store below. These things are amazing, and they're beautiful works of art. Of course, whenever Don, when you get this one, and if anybody else wants one, whenever you get them, I'll have a fishing line on them, of course, but I didn't have time for that. I got another project going on, but I'll do that probably this evening. Hope you guys liked the video, and if you want to check out one, like a step-by-step tutorial on how to build one of these out of just whatever wood you have, check out this video. And have a great day.